the earth lie countless hidden secrets, and while archaeologists work tirelessly to uncover them, many remain shrouded in mystery. Displayed on the screen now is column 24 of the Temple Scroll from Cave 11. In this video, we'll explore some of the most enigmatic discoveries ever unearthed, from rare treasures to warriors interred alive. Here are the 16 most astonishing finds ever uncovered underground. Number 16. 9,000-year-old beer, ancient brewing techniques. Do you have the courage to try a beverage that has been buried underground for the past 9,000 years? Recently, archaeologists in southeastern China made an extraordinary discovery: beer residue in ancient vessels and old dregs. These artifacts were estimated to date back to the Neolithic era, around 9,000 years ago. Nearby, 2 skeletons were found, suggesting that their relatives had left alcohol at their graves as part of a ritual to honor the deceased. Upon analyzing the residue, experts determined that the ancient beer was made from fermented rice, specifically a grain known as Job's tears. Unlike the clear, crisp beers we drink today, this ancient brew was cloudy in appearance and had a slightly sweet taste. The discovery sheds light on the cultural significance of alcohol in ancient rituals and daily life. Archaeologists are optimistic about finding more evidence of this ancient beer as they continue to excavate the site. What remains puzzling, however, is how the people of this settlement managed to produce the mold necessary for fermentation 9,000 years ago. Scientists are still debating whether the settlers accidentally discovered the fermentation process by noticing that moldy rice tasted sweeter, or if they learned the technique from an external source. This discovery not only provides insights into ancient brewing practices, but also highlights the ingenuity and resourcefulness of early human societies. Number 15. The Prediction of Dorothy Edd, a Tale of Reincarnation. Do you believe in reincarnation? Whether you do or not, the story of Dorothy Edd is sure to captivate your interest. Born in January 1904, Dorothy was a bright-eyed child full of curiosity. Her life took a dramatic turn after a tragic accident. She fell from a long and winding staircase and was pronounced dead. Miraculously, hours later, she was found upright and restless on her bed. After this incident, Dorothy's behavior changed significantly. During a family visit to the British Museum in 1908, she became particularly fascinated with Egyptian artifacts. She even sat near one of the preserved mummies and begged her parents to let her stay there, insisting she wanted to be with her people. Her behavior, including kneeling to kiss the feet of a statue, turned many heads. Following this visit, Dorothy began having vivid dreams about an unknown garden that felt familiar to her. When she later saw a photograph of Egypt, specifically the Temple of Seti I, she insisted that this was where she belonged. These vivid dreams and her newfound obsession with ancient Egypt led her to conclude that she had lived in ancient Egypt in a past life as a reincarnated Egyptian priestess. Rather than dismissing her dreams, Dorothy moved to Cairo, Egypt, where she married an Egyptian man. Despite widespread skepticism, Dorothy remained unfazed and continued to share her visions. One of her most notable predictions was about a palace garden within the Temple of Seti I. When archaeologists excavated the area she pointed out, they indeed found the remains of a magnificent garden. Dorothy's knowledge of ancient Egypt, including details unknown to scholars at the time, earned her respect among American archaeologists. She adopted the name Dorothy Edd Seti after moving to Egypt. Her story continues to intrigue and baffle people worldwide, blending elements of mysticism and historical accuracy in a way that challenges our understanding of reincarnation. Number 14. Kids with disabilities buried like royalty, ancient valuation of life. Around 34,000 years ago, our ancestors lived as hunters and gatherers. Survival was challenging, and every moment was critical. Despite this, they placed significant value on their deceased, much like we do today. Archaeologists were astonished to find the graves of 2 young boys on the outskirts of Vladimir, Russia. These boys, estimated to be between 10 and 12 years old, were buried head-to-head in a long grave surrounded by an extraordinary array of riches. The burial site contained no less than 10,000 mammoth ivory beads, 20 armbands, 16 ivory mammoth spears, deer antlers, calf bones, and 300 fox teeth. This was a treasure trove indicating the immense value placed on these children. The artifacts buried with them were incredibly precious for people living 34,000 years ago. Burying such treasures with the deceased signified the high regard in which they held their family members. Initially, archaeologists thought this was a common practice, but another discovery suggested otherwise. Nearby, the grave of a man estimated to be about 40 years old contained far fewer treasures, only 3,000 mammoth beads, a few fox teeth, and a stone pendant. Moreover, the 2 young boys appeared to have been born with disabilities, indicating that our ancestors did not discriminate against those who were different. This was not an isolated case. Other burial sites from the mid-upper Paleolithic period show similar practices, where individuals with disabilities were given elaborate burials, often more extravagant than those of ordinary people. Number 13. 4-year-old unearths precious pendant, a treasure hunter's dream. Sometimes, the most unexpected discoveries happen when we least expect them. Such was the case for a young treasure hunter named James Hyatt. At the tender age of 4, James asked his father if he could borrow the family's metal detector. Not anticipating much, they ventured out with the detector. Almost immediately, the familiar sound of the metal detector's buzz indicated that something was buried beneath the ground. Excited, James and his father began digging several inches into the earth. They expected to find nothing more than a piece of trash, given their casual approach to treasure hunting. To their astonishment, they unearthed a locket predominantly made of gold, with an image of the Virgin Mary engraved on it. Experts estimated that the gold pendant dates back to the 16th century, giving it a significant historical value and an impressive price tag of around $2 million. According to the laws in their country, if the pendant were to be sold, the proceeds would be split between the finder and the property owner. This legal arrangement ensures that both parties benefit from the discovery. For young James, this incredible find will undoubtedly be a memorable highlight of his childhood, a story he will cherish and recount for years to come. This story highlights the unexpected nature of treasure hunting and the remarkable discoveries that can be made, even by the youngest of adventurers. It also serves as a reminder of the historical treasures still hidden beneath our feet, waiting to be found by those curious and lucky enough to stumble upon them. Number 12. The Dead Sea Scrolls, Ancient Mysteries Unveiled. Between 1946 and 1947, a group of teenagers tending to goats and sheep near the ancient settlement of Qumran, on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea, stumbled upon a remarkable discovery. One day, as they were exploring the area, one of the young shepherds tossed a rock into the side of a cliff and was startled by the sound of something shattering. Intrigued and confused, the young shepherds ventured into the area and found large clay jars, pieces of leather, and ancient scrolls. Their discovery eventually led archaeologists to the site, where they uncovered thousands of scroll fragments. These fragments, once pieced together, comprised between 800 to 900 manuscripts. Unfortunately, before archaeologists could secure all the scrolls, some were illegally sold and made their way to the United States. The Dead Sea Scrolls contain stories and passages from the Bible, offering invaluable insights into religious texts. While the contents of the scrolls themselves are not particularly mysterious, the origins of these manuscripts remain an enigma to this day. The identity of the authors of these scrolls is unknown. Among the most intriguing of the scrolls is a unique manuscript known as the Copper Scroll. Unlike the other scrolls, which contain biblical passages and stories, the Copper Scroll is an ancient treasure map. It lists dozens of caches of gold and silver hidden in underground hiding places around Israel. Written in Hebrew and Greek script, the Copper Scroll symbols were chiseled onto metal sheets, adding to its mystique. According to the scroll, there are 64 locations containing these hidden treasures. Despite decades of searching since the scroll's discovery, none of the treasure hoards mentioned in the Copper Scroll have ever been found. The continued mystery of these hidden treasures captivates historians and treasure hunters alike, keeping the legend of the Dead Sea Scrolls alive. Now it's time for today's topic. In a stunning discovery, archaeologists unearthed an ancient burial chamber, revealing a row of remarkably well-preserved mummies. The chamber, hidden beneath a remote desert region, contains skeletal remains dating back over 2,000 years. The team, led by Dr. Emily Carter, stumbled upon the site during an excavation project aimed at exploring ancient civilizations. The mummies, found lying on brick platforms, wore traditional garments and held various artifacts, including pottery and primitive tools. The discovery offered a rare glimpse into burial practices and the daily life of a long-lost culture. Dr. Carter described the find as one of the most significant in recent history. She noted that the condition of the mummies suggested advanced preservation techniques that were previously unknown. These mummies are incredibly well preserved, giving us valuable insights into their way of life and death, she said. The chamber also contained an intricately carved sarcophagus, hinting at the possible presence of a high-ranking individual. Researchers are now meticulously documenting the site and plan to conduct further analysis to determine the exact origins and significance of the findings. This discovery has sparked excitement among historians and archaeologists worldwide, promising to shed light on ancient practices and enhance our understanding of human history. What do you think these mummies can tell us about ancient civilizations? How should we protect and preserve such significant archaeological discoveries? Number 11. The London Hammer and Archaeological Enigma. The London Hammer, encased in ancient rock, might not appear to be the most fascinating artifact at first glance. However, It remains a perplexing find that continues to baffle researchers. Max and Emma Hahn stumbled upon this peculiar artifact in 1936 while hiking along Red Creek near the community of London, Texas. They noticed a unique piece of wood protruding from a boulder. Curiosity got the better of them, leading them to pull out an iron hammer with a wooden handle embedded within the rock. A gentleman named Carl B. later acquired the hammer from the couple and began a detailed examination of it. The hammer measures 6 inches in length with a diameter of 1 inch. The metal composition primarily consists of iron, along with traces of chlorine and sulfur. Despite being exposed to the elements for potentially millions of years, the hammer showed no signs of rust, sparking theories about advanced metallurgy techniques possibly used millions of years ago. In 1985, a report suggested that the hammer encased in rock was between 400 to 500 million years old. This claim, however, met with skepticism from several experts. The origin of the hammer has been a subject of debate ever since its discovery. Although some experts insist that the hammer could have been created millions of years ago, this conflicts with our understanding of human history, as humans were not believed to have existed that far back. While it is agreed that the rock itself is ancient, the question remains whether the hammer was encased from the beginning or introduced later. The only definitive way to determine the hammer's age would be through carbon-14 dating of the wooden handle. However, B., the current owner of the hammer, has not yet permitted this procedure, leaving the mystery unresolved. Number 10. 2,000-year-old butter, ancient culinary discovery. Let's dive into another incredible discovery. Recently, archaeologists uncovered a massive chunk of butter, estimated to be about 2,000 years old. While this is a fascinating find, it's not the oldest butter ever discovered. In 2013, archaeologists found butter that was 5,000 years old, buried in a bog. Despite not being the oldest, the discovery of the 2,000-year-old butter was still a remarkable event. This lump of ancient butter was accidentally discovered by a turf cutter who was cutting peat for fuel. Needless to say, the man was shocked by what he found. The surprise didn't end there. The smell was equally astonishing. It turns out that ancient butter smells incredibly rancid after being buried for millennia. Historians explain that people in ancient times used bogs as oversized natural freezers. Bogs had the right combination of temperature, acidity, and low oxygen levels to preserve food, and apparently human bodies as well. Interestingly, the 2,000-year-old bog butter is theoretically still edible, although none of the researchers were brave enough to taste it. The idea of consuming ancient butter is unappealing to many, including myself. However, the preservation methods of ancient people continue to fascinate us, highlighting their resourcefulness in food storage. Number 9. The Capan Crypt, a macabre attraction. What scientists found in the Capan Crypt in Rome, Italy, shocked the world. Seeing dead bodies is part of the job for archaeologists and scientists who examine corpses to learn about our past. However, some discoveries are so eerie that they baffle even seasoned researchers. The Capan Crypt is a small space beneath a church in Rome, housing the remains of 3,700 Capuchin friars. The crypt is divided into several chambers, each decorated with intricate patterns made from human bones. Skulls line the walls in symmetrical designs, and chandeliers crafted from vertebrae hang from the ceilings, casting a haunting ambience across the chambers. This unusual use of bones as decoration was intended as a stark reminder of mortality and the fleeting nature of earthly life. In 1631, the friars arrived at the church, bringing 300 cartloads of previously deceased friars with them. Since then, the remains of those in the order have been kept in the crypt. The older skeletons were even taken apart and used as ornaments, creating a macabre display that is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Visitors from around the world travel to Rome to see this chilling attraction. The crypt holds several mummies lying on the ground, a sight that would unsettle most people. The Capan Crypt is a unique blend of history and horror, showcasing the friars' belief in the transient nature of life. Number 8. Warriors buried alive, a gruesome ritual. In January 2022, researchers in China announced the discovery of an intriguing archaeological site located within the city of Anyang in Hunan province. This site revealed the 3,000-year-old tombs of a wealthy clan. The complex, consisting of 24 tombs, was discovered less than 2 miles from the UNESCO World Heritage Archaeological Site of Inshu. These tombs date back to the Shang dynasty, which spanned from approximately 1600 BC to 1046 BC, making it one of the earliest recorded dynasties in China. The site included several pits containing war chariots, skeletal remains of horses, gold and bronze artifacts, and more. Among these findings, archaeologists also unearthed the remains of warriors and war horses. Upon further analysis, experts discovered a chilling aspect of these tombs. The tombs belonged to a prominent clan significant enough to bury their servants and horsemen alive as part of their burial rituals. Human sacrifice was a common practice in many ancient cultures, though it remains unsettling to discover tangible evidence of such practices. Scholars believe that the ritual suicide or sacrificial burial of servants and horsemen was customary during the Shang dynasty. This discovery underscores the considerable influence and power wielded by chariot owners in ancient China. While most of us find the idea of being buried alive horrifying, for commoners serving high-ranking masters in ancient times, it was a grim reality they had to accept. This discovery not only provides insight into the Shang dynasty's burial practices but also highlights the harsh societal structures of ancient China, where the lives of servants were often deemed expendable. Number 7. Medieval Maternity, a tragic discovery. In a medieval grave near Bologna, Italy, an unusual and poignant burial was uncovered. The grave, dating back to the 7th or 8th centuries AD, contained the remains of a pregnant woman who had suffered a head injury. Discovered and excavated in 2010, this burial site left researchers puzzled and saddened. The woman's grave was particularly tragic due to the tiny skeleton found between her legs, a fetus. This discovery offered a rare and intimate look into the maternal struggles faced by women of that era, underscoring the lack of medical knowledge available to prevent such tragedies. The grave goods found around her, though sparse, hinted at a modest lifestyle, possibly indicating she was of common social standing. The positioning of the fetus suggested that her death occurred very close to delivery, amplifying the tragic nature of the find. Scholars also believe the burial may reflect community attempts to honor both mother and child, recognizing the devastating loss. This phenomenon, known as coffin birth or postmortem fetal extrusion, remains a subject of debate among experts. Coffin birth occurs when a deceased pregnant woman expels her fetus posthumously. Typically, the fetus would be expelled due to the buildup of gases within the body after death. In rare anecdotal accounts, there have been claims of live coffin births, although these are highly contested. Archaeologists determined that the woman was approximately 38 weeks pregnant at the time of her death, with the baby's head already positioned below her pelvic cavity, indicating that she was close to giving birth. Normally, a woman's cervix would not relax after death, suggesting the baby should remain inside. However, experts theorize that the accumulation of gases might have caused the fetus to be expelled postmortem. Number 6. Notre Dame's tombs, unearthing history beneath a cathedral. In December 2022, archaeologists revealed an exciting discovery beneath the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral. They unearthed 2 lead sarcophagi buried deep within the cathedral grounds. Upon examining the first sarcophagus, researchers identified the remains of a high priest who had died in 1710. This high-ranking individual likely played a prominent role in the church's history, possibly overseeing significant events or rituals within the cathedral. His burial within Notre Dame suggests he was deeply respected, and his influence may have extended far beyond the cathedral walls. The discovery of his remains, preserved in such a unique manner, gives a personal glimpse into the lives of influential figures of the era. The cause of death was somewhat unexpected. The priest had lived a sedentary lifestyle, which ultimately contributed to his demise. The second sarcophagus presented more of a mystery. Based on the burial context, it is speculated that it may belong to a young wealthy noble who lived in the 14th century. However, the exact identity of this individual may forever remain unknown. The discovery of these sarcophagi provides a fascinating glimpse into the history and social hierarchy of those who were buried within the cathedral grounds. Future excavations beneath Notre Dame may uncover even more historical artifacts and remains, further enriching our understanding of this significant cultural and religious site. Number 5. 15th Century Gold Book, a precious relic. When Buffy Bailey and her husband Ian set out with their metal detector to search for treasure on farmland near York, England, they had modest expectations. Buffy anticipated finding something trivial, perhaps a sheep's ear tag or a discarded cantab. However, the familiar beep of the detector led them to an extraordinary discovery, a small object made of gold, weighing less than an ounce and measuring about half an inch long. The artifact was shaped like a book and dated back to the 15th century. Crafted from either 22 or 24-karat gold, the tiny book featured depictions of several saints on its open pages, including St. Leonard and St. Margaret. Archaeologists and historians believe the book may have belonged to a relative of King Richard III of England, possibly his wife and Neville. It is speculated that she carried the artifact with her during pregnancy and childbirth as a protective charm. Experts have estimated the book's worth to be around $130,000 or potentially even higher. However, its historical and cultural significance surpasses its monetary value. The artifact dates back to a time when sumptuary laws restricted the possession of gold to nobility, highlighting its importance as a symbol of status and privilege. This remarkable find not only adds to our understanding of medieval craftsmanship and social hierarchy but also enriches the narrative of England's royal history. Number 4. The Library of Ashurbanipal, an ancient treasure trove. Historians often lament the loss of the Great Library of Alexandria, which was believed to house countless manuscripts that could have unveiled the secrets of the ancient world. Its destruction marked a significant loss to historical knowledge. However, many are unaware that another significant library, dating back approximately 2,600 years, existed. This is the Royal Library of Ashurbanipal, recognized as the first library in the world and the oldest surviving royal library. Archaeologists discovered the Royal Library of Ashurbanipal during excavations at Nineveh, in what is now modern-day Iraq. This ancient library contains over 30,000 clay tablets and fragments inscribed with cuneiform script, covering an extensive range of subjects from government records to literature. Ashurbanipal, the library's namesake, is often considered the last great ruler of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, reigning from 668 to 627 BC. It's no wonder that a library befitting a king was named after him. Nineveh faced destruction by fire around 612 BC, leading to the burning of most of its paper-based books. However, the clay tablets proved resilient, surviving the flames and even becoming harder and more durable due to the intense heat. As a result, these tablets are among the best-preserved records of over 1,000 years of Mesopotamian history. Before the library's discovery, our knowledge of ancient Assyria was largely derived from the Bible or anecdotal accounts. The unearthing of these ancient tablets dramatically expanded our understanding of Mesopotamian culture. Today, much of what we know about this ancient civilization comes from the treasures found in the Library of Ashurbanipal. Number 3. Lucy, a glimpse into human evolution. AL 288-1, more commonly known as Lucy, is a remarkable collection of 100 fossilized bones that represent 40% of a female Australopithecus afarensis skeleton. Lucy, who lived over 3 million years ago, is considered one of our distant ancestors. By distant, we mean she is several evolutionary steps away from modern humans. She likely roamed the ancient landscapes in small groups, navigating forests and open plains. Unlike some of her ape-like contemporaries, Lucy appears to have walked upright on 2 legs, a defining trait that set the stage for future hominid evolution. Her stature and bone structure suggest she may have been agile and adaptive to changing environments, allowing her species to survive for hundreds of thousands of years. Unlike our more recent ancestors, Lucy had a more ape-like appearance. She possessed long, dangling arms, but her pelvic bones, spine, feet, and legs bore a striking resemblance to those of modern humans. The discovery of Lucy's bones in 1974 in Ethiopia astonished the world. Her well-preserved remains provided invaluable insights into our early ancestor species, allowing scientists to better understand the evolutionary path that led to modern humans. Lucy's existence helps bridge the gap in our knowledge of human evolution, making it possible to trace the development of traits and physical characteristics that define our species today. Number 2. Oxen horde, an unexpected treasure. Eric Laws was a man with a simple mission. He had lost his hammer and was determined to retrieve it. On November 16, 1992, Laws set off to a field in Hoxton village near Suffolk with a metal detector he had received as a retirement gift. As he explored the field, his primary goal was to locate his lost tool. However, the metal detector soon picked up a strong signal, and Laws thought he had found a large piece of metal. He began digging and quickly realized he had stumbled upon something incredibly valuable. With just a few shovelfuls of dirt, he unearthed a mix of gold and silver coins, signaling that there was much more to discover. Recognizing the significance of his find, Laws wisely stopped digging and contacted the authorities. The local authorities enlisted the help of the local archaeological society, calling in experts to examine the site. The following day, archaeologists discreetly excavated the area, carefully transporting the entire hoard to a secure location for detailed examination under laboratory conditions. The hoard contained an impressive collection of $60,000 worth of gold and silver objects, including 15,234 Roman coins, numerous silver spoons, and 200 gold items. In recognition of his remarkable discovery and his decision to preserve the treasure intact, the British government awarded Laws a staggering $750,000. They also praised him for his responsible actions. The archaeologists involved in the excavation received a generous reward for their efforts as well. This project gained renown as the largest and most significant hoard discovered in Britain in recent history. Such an extraordinary find not only provided immense historical value but also captivated the public's imagination. Number 1. Frankenstein Mummies, Mysteries of Ancient Rituals. Ancient rituals often leave us baffled, and one such discovery in a 3,000-year-old Scottish bog has puzzled archaeologists. The remains of 6 individuals, found more than a decade ago in a prehistoric village on South Uist Island off Scotland's coast, revealed a macabre surprise. These so-called Frankenstein mummies were composed of body parts from different individuals. What appeared to be a female skeleton turned out to be a collection of mismatched bones. The jawbone, skull, arm, and leg belonged to different people, and none of the remains were from the same family. Some bones even belonged to individuals who lived centuries apart. For example, one male skeleton predated the others by at least a century but wasn't buried until hundreds of years later. Experts theorized that this was a ritual practice by early settlers in Scotland. Historians believe it was a way to connect families across generations, creating a tangible link between ancestors and descendants. While this practice may seem noble, it certainly startled the archaeologists who made the discovery. What do you think of these incredible discoveries? Which one fascinated you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're here, why not check out more of our captivating content displayed on the screen? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, everyone.